Swoop, let me check your circuit.
We take orders from you now.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike coming at you with the Magic Square MS-B59 Stegosaurus. This is Magic Square's take on a very G1-esque Legends scaled Dinobot Snarl, and the last one. It's done. Stick a fork in it. After this, maybe we get into some Masterpiece dinos. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's every bit as good as what they're doing with their Bruticus. But I did get this at Shozy Store. I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours at Shozy Store right now. But let's take a look at this. Let's get into doing, of course, the comparison to New Age, Vintage, and all that good stuff. Also, transformation and checking out all the dinos, because I keep these in dino mode. And hey, did I do a pretty good job of matching the pose on the box art? Let me know. We'll take a look at Snarl coming up. Here's boxing of Super G1 looking, and it's got, you know, the grid pattern and all that kind of stuff. Fading grid pattern. On the back you see him going on long walks on the beach or in the desert, wherever he is. I actually have one of those somewhere I should start using, but you can see it very clearly. So they kind of look G1-esque. No window. Alright, Stegosaurus right out of the box. Looks very cartoony, very red, gray, and yellowy, and very plasticky. So there's no paint on this bad boy. Well, some accent paint only. No full coats paint like New Age does. And we're used to that. And it does look good. The design of it looks very, very nice. Really does work for the character. And I do like it. I do like how it looks. So let's get into a few more things with this guy. First of all, we do have his head sculpt, which I don't even think we get an alternate head, which doesn't bother me because I don't like swapping heads and all that nonsense. We do get extra hands. We will take a look at the extra hand business. Can I get that in there? Adjust my lighting. And then, so much stuff's moving around. Now I got the lighting better. Nice paint going on right in here. The face is painted pretty well. And actually, if like the whole body was painted like the face was painted, that would be nice if it had that level of paint to it. But that costs money. And these little spike things on here just carry through with the character, and the foot works pretty well. A little bit of accents there and right here in the paint. Pretty clean backpack. And I kind of like how they actually did this. This works really well. This fits in there. You kind of rebuild it when you transform it and build it up, build it out. So it does condense down instead of it being just the whole tail just going on there. So there are some things done different with this and then design-wise, but there's only so many ways you can fillet a fish or transform a dino. And they've added to that way or changed it a little bit. But anyway, looking pretty good. Let's get into articulation, accessories, and then comparisons. Pretty much, I think, the standard ball joint, but I will say this, you can look all the way up. It's also part of transformation, but you can look all the way up. So Silverhawks need to be able to do that. I'll take a little cut in the neck. Well, maybe not that big of a cut. Anyway, side to side, up and down. Looks down a little bit. He has to look down at Bumblebee and stuff. So past the 90, 360 at the shoulder. Bicep swivel with a little bit of waffling in there, so you can see that mushroom peg, and double jointed at the elbow. And you can pop on the hands. I'll do the hands here a little bit, but right now I just got a holding hand in there. Waist swivel, mega magic square ab crunch, and it looks like pistons and stuff moving them up the way it's in there. It's in there good. And then there's a tiny hip flap. Goes all the way out. We are advanced enough to do the hiding hip flap, which I do like hiding hip flaps, but usually, you don't even have to manually bring it back. It doesn't go too far to the back, but goes way past the 90 to the front. And so all that works really well. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee right there for some jumping and frolicking in the woods, and foot up, down, all that. Well, it does some stuff. You can get the tilt and up and down. It's a bit of a cheat, actually, but I'll take the cheat because it works. For accessories, you do get this sword, and it is, well, we get into comparisons. Very, very, very similar to the G1 sword, but it's gray. I guess it was gray in the cartoon or not red. Now, to think of it, I just don't remember. Now, you do get the splayed hands, which are hinged to open up and out so you can slap around and stuff. But the thing about this is that it's on a ball joint. You need to pop the ball joint off. And those are a little bit rough. I don't know if I can get that in there. Those are a little rough to deal with, so I don't want to mess with it. It's a better design. The hand's not going to keep falling off all the time. It's just a lot of pressure, get it in and out, and I don't want to mess with all that. Of course, you get instructions, and you get his card, and I just got an extra bonus. In my box was a card for Swoop, unless maybe Swoop never got a card. So I don't know. This is so strange. I don't even pay attention to the cards. They just go back in the box. So I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. Did we not get a card with Swoop? I could have sworn we did. Gotta go dig that box out. Alright, so starting out, this is a comparison with the Magic Square Optimus Prime, and dinos are supposed to be bigger than Optimus Prime, significantly larger, makes sense, think the scale's good. This is perfection for scale, in my opinion. If you disagree with me, well, feel free to disagree with me in the comments below. I love comments, and if you want to disagree, that's great. That's what freedom's about. Here's the New Age EX toy version, and I love that Vag Metal Chrome, so it is so hard to sit here and just say, yeah, Magic Square is better than New Age when New Age has all that chrome. Like, they know what they're doing with the flashiness over here. Maybe this design feels a little bit more cartoon and accurate, but man, that presentation from New Age just is so amazing, especially with the EX, especially with anything with Vac Metal on it. Just, I mean, the Vac Metal just makes it win, plus the clear sword, and you get the gun. This one didn't come with a gun. Just, they were around the same price point. Very, very impressive. But this one still, I mean, looking at them side by side and as all the glamour over here, this still looks really, really good. Here's next to G1, and this is what I was saying. The G1, it ain't no fun without G1. Okay, this, what he did, or what they did with these, looks a lot better than what G1 did, which is tail splitting. But that's what we're used to, and the Dinobots look great standing there on the shelf. I was kind of get a little bit of a little anglage to this and movement, but there it is next to a G1. And people are always surprised when they see that Legends figures about 40% of the time, not all the time, but 40%, scale exactly the same or really, really close to G1. Could almost be swap outs for G1, which is actually one of the things that got me started into Legends, was some dinos to go with my dino collection. You know, with Christmas almost around 80 days away or something like that, we've got a Christmassy version of Snarl that they made. They call it G2. They also made a green one. I have the green one somewhere in alt mode. I wish I could dig it out for this review, but anyway, there it is. I just thought it'd be fun. All right, for transformation, it's a little bit involved. I mean, a little too involved in my opinion for a dino bot, but it is what it is. So we're gonna fold the arms up, just kind of straighten them. I think we need to just do a 180 on them. It's kind of how it's going to end up, but we'll find that out. Nothing's really that big of a deal. Fold these things up, fold this up. We want to get this connection point here out. Guess we can just kind of push up on this. This is kind of what connects it all. That disconnects it and brings that up. And then we can bring this up. We got this nice ab crunch. And then we're going to do some wild, crazy things here that's going to happen with this bad boy. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to sort of lift this up, and we're going to make these both go in the air. And then we're going to do a flip-a-roo Rooney Meister, and then it's going to come back down. This is where this piece comes and forms into there. This guy comes down, and we can work on the leg, which is kind of one of those things where you could just work on it. Probably easier to work on the leg in the end, but let's bring it out. Fold this piece here out, and I think we have a gap filler in there, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, we've got one leg done, and we do the same thing on the other side. See about getting that done again, and I'm wondering if I've got the correct exact angles. We'll find that out. It's not a big deal. As long as nothing feels like you're, well, I don't know. That's another problem with Magic Square. If you feel like you're kind of moving stuff around in the plastic, has to move past plastic, and the tolerance isn't perfect. It's still usually still correct. So that's how it goes. So this is going to tab up into here all the way. This is going to come down. We are going to form the leg and all that stuff. These arms are going to kind of sit here for now. And then we need to pop this up, fold this out, fold this, come on, out, get that into here, come on. And then I have a spudger-ish thing, spudgish, rudgish, there it is. I don't really like spudgers, but sometimes you kind of need to use them. And here we are at this point in the game where we are. Then we've got to start turning our attention to what's going on up here with the head and all of that, which we are going to do some fun stuff. All right, so what we're going to do here is kind of flip this all the way around, and then we are going to open these pieces here up. And this is basically just going to come down and be part of the chest. Do to make sure this piece here goes all the way in so that this will all fit just right. Then we can start working on this right here. So we need to fold these pieces down right here, and we are going to sort of build out these pieces like so to fully make the tail. So this is how they kind of made the tail in there. That should be up, right? So this was folded in, but it's going to come open right. So we're going to do the same thing with this side and opening up this tail, kind of go around the head. There might have been a smoother, easier way to have done that, but that's how I got it done. Now that folds up all this. And then the head's going to flip around and fold back so that this can all come over, up and atoms. And then there are tabs, tab, 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 tastic. And then right here, this needs to get tabbed in. And there's tabs right in this area. And once you got it all tabbed in, it's going to look pretty clean. And then we're going to flip the script, which I guess is why that wasn't a big deal that was tabbed in all the way yet, because we've got to work on the lower legs. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different with the lower legs here, and I'm going to do one off camera so that the second one is the smoothest, because it's pretty involved actually. These legs are pretty involved. All right, I guess I probably should angle this down. I got one side done, one leg. This is probably going to be really hard for me to do on camera. It's a little tricky. Overall it's not really that hard. It's just I really did get lost when I opened this up on just this whole hinge with the knee. You can get lost for days on that thing. Let's go ahead, and we have to pull this out. So this is tabbed with a mushroom peg into here, but I had no way to get it out. When I just pull it comes out. You got to be careful with that, because you know how Magic Square is with this stuff. We are going to fold this little piece here in. We are going to bring out, I will probably have to take that other side apart to just have space to deal with all the stuff that's going to happen here. But we need to bring the head out. So bring this out. And it's going to just be confusing onto like where they did a number on this leg piece here. Now we flip the head around, and it is kind of cool. They do have an opening mouth. So there's a high level of engineering they had put into this to get to do what it does. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to, this piece here, this gray piece folds out, but this, we need to bring it out, and then we can fold this gray piece out, and then we'll bring the foot back in, and we'll deal with the foot here in just a minute. Then we have all of this. Now, We're going to open this up, and then we're going to rotate this, and I think you can only rotate it one direction. And we want to keep this from not going on the other side of that, which that was easier. Maybe this whole thing's going to be easier just because I did one, and that was an issue that I had. There's a tab here to tab that in, and then you got to just make sure it's rotated properly and adequately. And then this leg, which is something strange, flip it around. And then this is a cool little feature that they put in. It's a nice little feature. It's a dustbuster. No, you push on this and it will bring down the filler, but it won't bring it down all the way. But it brings it down most of the way, and then you kind of have to get in there with something to get it the rest of the way. But pushing down on this can get you most of the filler out. And then that came on tab. Then tab this into here. And we got a lot more work to do with this, so that's not ready to close up yet. This piece here is just going to come around and mushroom tab into place. There's that. We're nowhere near done. Now, this is going to be some tricky next level stuff here. It looks like it'd be simple and easy, but it's not. I got to make sure I've got this in the right position. And I believe, nope, it's got to lay flat. So the position is going to be in, it's going to have to lay flat. All right, I twisted it all around and stuff, but basically I twisted it around, and then I believe that's the correct position, but I might have to remess with that here in a bit. And I do like just things making sense in my head as I'm going and stuff. Keep that straight. Now we got to get into how we position all of this to rotate for this to close up into here, because that's supposed to go into here, and this has to rotate. Now this does kind of separate here for this to happen, and then there's a little bit of rotation to it. So like this has to come up like that, and this has to rotate over, and this has to clear this. And this is going to be a little, this might be easier, it might be harder than the first one, but we do have the first one sort of in the way as I'm doing this. So there's that issue too. And yet I don't think I've got it rotated just right. So this is what hangs me up on this transformation. It's exactly, and I'm going to just open up the other side. And so how does the other one look? Looks exactly the same. So it is how this hinge is put together that's the problem. I don't really know how to do this and make it not look like a mess, but this flips all the way over, and then now we can have these hinges aligning right. And then I'm looking, and I do believe we have this aligned right too, so that we can start closing it up. And that to me is, I believe, the trickiest part. I'm not sure, with all the stuff going on at once, I'm not sure the best way to even show it. And it's confusing. It is very confusing. And not really a hard transformation. It's just this one part has to be just right, or it's not going to close up. I mean, that's kind of how it is on most Masterpiece transformers. And then at the same time, you've got these, well, maybe they'll just work without having to re-mushroom peg stuff together, but then we'll get all this plugged in, tabbed in, tabbed in. There's a tab slot and a tab here for the neck, and then you can tab the heads together. And then the bottom here is starting to not want to work together, but now it is. Then we have to mushroom peg these together. This is a tab, mushroom peg, tab. Now it's all starting to come together, and this is where just go around and start tabbing everything in. Now this is interesting too, because it's going to be quite a bit of stuff getting tabbed into itself. And he's going to move at different angles here, but you're going to get him into about this angle and start tabbing all this in. There's a red tab here, some yellow tabs that go into here, some other stuff that's going to come untabbed as you're working on it. Again, it's not a bad design. It's just a little overcomplicated, in my opinion, for what it's doing. And once you get it all tabbed together, like as the tabs start tabbing in, there's a yellow one here that goes there. Boom, got them. Didn't get them. Thought I got them. As you get them tabbed together, it's going to hold together really well once they're all in place. I mean, we're pretty much there. Just I'm going to go around and keep tabbing these in and then get it all the way. Boom. That red one needs to go in. So this is what they call clean it up or tighten it up. I'll do that off camera. All right, like I said, 30 seconds of tabbing it off camera. It's solid as a rock. And what I found was what kept things from popping out was this right here. So once you engage, you get everything lined up just right, and you engage that mushroom peg, then it literally locks every other peg coming together. That is the peg. So it's a pretty good design. And it's just, I have a much better time transforming off camera. But anyway, there's does he have anything else going on in there? It's amazing that they did all this engineering and his mouth opens on a Legends figure. So imagine what they can do if it was Masterpiece. But that's impressive. Really nice looking figure after all of this work. Super clean. I mean, do you see all those panel lines that we had to deal with and contend with? And I do see lines in them, but nothing like you'd expect with so many moving parts and pieces on this guy. So many pieces, and yet he looks like there's too much light on him, but he looks really clean. Very cartoony, very, very clean. That is impressive. It's engineering. It is impressive. Would have liked some toy-esque look to him, but there's paint there, and that matches the color, which is interesting because colored plastic and paint. I mean, it's not perfect, though. You can tell it's slightly different. And then the way that the paint is matched to the parts that were folded up in there to make it look more like the dino was pretty cool. The tail doing what the tail do, and eyes painted. Not much else. Little 3 accents there that are also part of the lower leg. But yeah, that is interesting. It is interesting. Probably got to work a little harder if I want to get the rest of that out. Poetic that I'm using a New Age Spudger on a Magic Square toy. And they're both yellow, different color yellows. Different yellows. There we go. And yeah, looking pretty good. Let's see how he compares to what are we going to compare him to? What do you want to compare this guy to? How about a G1? I always get too excited to get into comparisons. We need to do a little articulation. Head goes up and down, and I don't really see any side to side. Legs go out, 360. The foot moves up and down, and then I push that piece back in. And then it does move to the side as part of transformation. So something that his foot can move to the side, if that's a thing that you want it to do. And these don't move to the side. It's front and back, just like the G1, but has foot articulation in addition to the knee articulation on that. Tail, no wiggling to that. So now comparisons. Here's compared to the G1. Let's go ahead and get them a little closer up like this. And very similar. Very similar. Like he's got these extra little pieces here that come off the end. Tiny little ones. There's 4 tiny little ones there. Yeah, I like the... I think I'm missing some stuff on this. Let's see the other side. Yeah, mine's probably not in the best condition of dinos from G1, but it's still a dino from G1. So, will they do all the missing link dinos? Who knows? And those will be in my comparisons, but there we go. That's where it came from. Now let's see where we are now. So I have to make an admission here. I didn't realize that I was using Swoop stand wrong all this time. Plugs into his stomach too. I probably even said it in my review, but I wasn't using it in my display. I was like, how do I use this stand for him to fly like this? Maybe I just forgot, or maybe I never even knew. I don't know, but it's working better. Anyway, this is how he looks with the team. It's all that really matters in the end if you're collecting the team. How does the team look? How does he work with his team? And he works really well with his team. He looks really good. They all match. And then, you know, some people would be saying, well, we need some painted ones and some stuff like New Age did, but Magic Square's team looks cohesive because they kept it all looking the same, and it looks very cartoony, and together as a team looks really good, and it's going to look good on my shelf. Alright, so what are my thoughts on this Magic Square MS-B59 Stegosaurus? I think that they did a good job. I think that they finally completed this team, and it's pretty awesome. You only get one option, and it is the cartoon option. And they look pretty good. They look good for what they are. They definitely match the cartoon. I actually prefer their bot modes to New Age, and I think it's almost identical in alt mode for them, except the fact this looks cartoon. And a lot of people are 50-50 on whether it is display Dinobots in Dino mode or robot mode, but this figure here is, I feel it's the most complex out of all of them. It probably isn't. Like, the number of parts and steps and stuff's about very similar. It's just that leg hung me up, hung me out to dry. But still, it's a good figure, a solid figure. I'm glad I got it in the Dino mode because it's not going anywhere else. And that's how I display them. That's how I want them, is in the Dino mode. But I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours at Show Z Store. Let me know if you're interested in getting this figure, or if you're passed on this, if you're going with New Age. Hey, TH and Support the Reviewer works for anything you buy on Show Z, by the way. But thanks for helping out in there. I look forward to seeing these in Masterpiece, and if they make Masterpiece, you can guarantee that I'm going to be reviewing every Masterpiece one that they make on this channel, and I can't wait for them to finish the Bruticus. That's coming pretty soon. I've got several more reviews coming from Show Z, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Thanks everybody for watching. Teddy Hanger out.
And with the Dinobots' help, we brought back enough Cybertonium to repair all the Autobots.
Soon other Dinobots captured. But me get away for fixing Dinobots. Me Sludge, thank you too. Me thank you too. Too.